Hey everybody, I'm out here at Pretty Boy Reservoir and I'm parked over there in my kayak and I'm just walking around stretching my legs. I deliberately came to this area because there's so much driftwood that blows up into this corner. Everything from lumber to natural tree branches, tree stumps, all kinds of cool stuff washes up down here. And so I found a really good piece and I moved it over here so we could have a look at it without being distracted by a bunch of other bits of wood sitting all around it. Now I know it's big, but you know, go bold or go home in a lot of cases. And if you actually look at the inside of it, I mean just every aspect of it, it's got all these little nooks and crannies for the fish to swim around, little holes for them to swim through. If we roll it over, it wouldn't fit in the tank in this position. It would be too wide, but just putting it in this position so you can see it, you get a look at all that texture on the inside there. It's hollow all the way through, so it would make for great habitat. It would probably take a little finagling to get it in the tank. You know, I'd have to sort of wiggle it around those center braces, but it's, you know, it's a fairly substantial piece of wood, but it would fit, I think. And I really, really like it. It has so much character, and it's tall enough that I think that would actually stick up and out of the water, which would just add another dimension of character all the way around. So I don't know, I'll have to bring my little measuring tape with me, bring it back out here, maybe have a closer look at it, get some actual dimensions, because it's probably going to be bigger than I think, and it's probably going to float like a cork. I mean, I can pick it up one-handed without even making any old man grunting noises, so I mean that gives you an idea. It's not very heavy. But I don't know, I'm in love with this piece of wood. I really, really want that in my tank. So I don't know, we'll see. But I know where it is. I've separated it out from the herd. And now I can come back and get it whenever I want. And as I said, I'm parked over there. I'm gonna walk back around, start making my way back towards the boat launch as the afternoon wears on. I know it's hard to tell, but that is an island sitting out in the middle of this big cove. So we're going to finish the day by paddling around and going out and around that island, and ultimately I've got to go about 2 miles up that way to get to the boat launch. But I wanted to stop and do a little bit of video of that. So if you enjoy my outdoors videos, check out my Patreon page. I do a lot more outdoor stuff over there, much more longer videos where you get to come out and paddle around with me, or motor, or go fishing, or what have you. So if you enjoy these outdoorsy sort of videos, check out my Patreon page. In the meantime, I'm going to say thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you real soon in the next one. Alright, I had to fade back in for a minute here because before I left I found another really good looking piece of wood that I had to separate. So this gives me tons of inspiration when I look at this. I know it just looks like a big jumbled pile of wood to a lot of people, but the individual pieces of wood, some of them are works of art in their own right. And I also get a lot of inspiration from seeing stuff like this. Now this is just simple sensitive fern. I have this in my own yard. That's a common type of fern I have in my own yard. But seeing it growing in this type of environment brings to mind my waterfall tank and these sort of marginal growth areas where I can have some of these types of plants growing. And that, of course, gives me inspiration with all this woodwork. Again, we've got the wood that looks like that, that's got the moss growing on it. But any one of these individual pieces, as I said, if you just grab one of these at random, and this really is at random, I just happened to look down and saw it, that in a paludarium, or even if you were to force it to sink eventually in a fish tank, or have it propped up and sticking out of a large open top tank, That is a gorgeous piece of wood there, and so are a lot of these. You get all this age and weathering on them. If you look at this one here, this really large one, look at the age and weathering on that. I mean, that is just fantastic. You don't get that without sitting out in the elements for a very long time. But again, these are all way too big for anything I would want to do. And this one probably is too, but I put it back here. I separated my good one sitting up there, but on the way out I noticed this one. And if it were to probably sit in my tank, it would sit something like that and be propped up and sticking out of the tank. So it's hard to tell from that angle, but if you look at it from the underside, it's hollow almost all the way through. And of course the end opens way up. So if that was sitting on my tank like that, that is a ton of hiding places and habitat. And then once you get up and out of the water, you've got all of these hollow areas that would act as attachment points for plants. And I got all these nice wide cracks in it, and again, it's hollow all the way through. Even where my hand is, it's just completely hollow. And so that would be a really good piece of wood to go in the tank to be sticking up and out. And I know this doesn't come out well. I'm going to say that's maybe 7 feet. It's longer than I am, and I'm about 5'10". If I stand it up, it's a solid foot taller than me. So I would probably have to do something with it to shorten it up or something. But again, just lying right here next to it, and I just have endless supplies of this kind of wood. Now this, of course, I can already tell you would float like a cork. But for my paludarium or something like that, it's a good looking piece of wood. So alright everybody, I really am going to go for real this time. I've had my stretch, found some exciting pieces of wood. At least I think this kind of stuff is exciting. Now the day is wearing on, the sun's starting to go down, and I got a couple of miles worth of paddling into the wind ahead of me. So let me get on with it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.